Good morning, everybody. Glad to see my chatters in the chat room, and I'm sure there's probably some lurkers out there lurking around, and all the Memorex viewers that'll be seeing the show later on. Glad to have you with me today. Oh my goodness, here in Indiana, it is a scorcher, absolute scorcher. There is a little breeze blowing because I see leaves twitching on the trees, but it ain't enough of a breeze. For as hot as it is, it ought to be a gale force wind coming through to cool things down. Man, oh man, it's hot today. Oh, I don't even have guts enough to look at the heat index because I think that's just going to make me feel worse. Wow, it's hot. And they've been saying for days it was going to rain. I'll believe it when I see it. They're calling for it again today and more tomorrow, but so far we ain't seen no rain. It sprinkled a couple days ago, just enough to make the sidewalk wet for about 5 minutes until it evaporated right back up off of there. So, man, we need some rain here. It don't need to come no Georgetown flood like it's been coming in a lot of places. You know, just some decent rain. That's what we need. Trees are even hollering for it. If you ever notice on a maple tree how when they beg for rain, the leaves will turn upside down on silver maples, you know, and so all the leaves look silvery. The tree right out my window here, it's got the leaves flipped backwards on it. It's begging for rain. So, man, I hope we get some today. Oh, Lord have mercy, it's been hot. It's been hotter in this house, you know, because I'm not paying for air conditioner this year with the job going belly up, you know, waiting for the Social Security to kick in. I'm not paying for the air conditioner to soak up all my savings, so I'm just dealing with fans, and it's been hotter in this house than it's been outside. But if you go outside and you get anywhere as close to where the sun's shining, it's going to crisp you up. So you can't be out there very long. Just run out long enough, stick your feet in the grass, get a breath of fresh air is about all you can stand out there. Mercy's sakes. Got a lot of news today. Well, Lord have mercy. We got some good ones too. Hope everybody pays attention to this. And I'm going to start this off by saying I know that there are other show hosts on YouTube that listen to this. And I bring a lot of very interesting things to the table here, and I don't really elaborate much on some of this stuff. So if you all want to grab any of this stuff, I've got the URLs down there in the description on the video. If you want to grab some of this stuff and do shows on it, you're welcome to do so, because some of this stuff could really stand to have a lot more exposure than what I'm giving it. You know, all of us working together is what's going to make a difference here. So please, by all means, grab something and run with it. I've got here is off of Christian Times, and it's breaking news, at least of as last night when I grabbed this. Early morning explosion in D.C. allegedly leaves yet another D.C. staffer dead. It says at least 2 people died and several remain missing after natural gas explosion and fire leveled an apartment building late Wednesday in the Washington suburb of Silver Spring, Maryland, fire officials said. Assistant Chief Russ Hamill of the Montgomery County Police told reporters Thursday that 2 bodies were found in the ruins and that the scene would be handled as a death investigation. The identity of one of the bodies has led some to speculate, especially following the revelations about murdered DNC staffer Seth Rich this week. Immediately after the explosion, journalists and observers began to ask questions. Hamill said 34 people, including 3 firefighters, were taken to the hospital. Many of the injuries were sustained by people jumping out of windows, according to the Montgomery County Fire Chief Scott Goldstein. JLA-TV reported. People were dropping children and jumping out of other windows, he said. Everybody was getting out of the building as rapidly as possible. CTN said that 5 to 7 people are still considered to be missing, and it is believed that a longtime DNC staffer may be among the group. The internet immediately lit up with reports. Eyes have turned to mysterious deaths surrounding DNC employees lately, with Julian Assange of WikiLeaks offering a cash reward for Seth murdered in a northwest DC neighborhood early last month. Assange even went as far as to say that Rich may have been WikiLeaks' source within the Democratic Party. This story is developing, and CTN will bring you news as it breaks. So there you have the first part of that, and I'm sure there'll be more to follow on it. But that's what I have on it right now. So, pretty good one. The next one that I have here, this is off of ABC News. And I got two of these because I wanted to show you the difference on what is actually hitting the news on this. This is about the live polls on who are you voting for. And the mainstream media, you know, that the Lord have mercy, that they'll tell you whatever they think is going to get them the furthest. Not, you know, it has absolutely nothing to do with the truth whatsoever. But this one says Donald Trump first campaigned for the U.S. presidency in 2000 and withdrew before any votes were cast, but afterwards won two Reform Party primaries. On June the 16th of 2015, he again announced his candidacy for president as a Republican. Trump became known for his opposition to illegal immigration, his opposition to various free trade agreements that he regards as unfair, his frequently non-interventionist views on foreign policy, and his proposal to temporarily ban foreign Muslims from entering the United States until Congress can determine how to address Islamic terrorism. Trump quickly emerged as the frontrunner for the Republican nomination. His controversial remarks have inspired protests, both opposing and supporting him. On May the 3rd, 2016, after winning the Indiana primary, Trump's main rival, Ted Cruz, suspended his campaign, and Republican Chairman Reince Priebus declared Trump the party's presumptive presidential nominee. Trump's final Republican rival, John Kasich, suspended his campaign the next day. On May 26, 2016, the Associated Press announced that Trump had reached the required 1,237 delegates needed in order to clinch the Republican nomination. Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton is an American politician and candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2016 election. She served as the 67th United States Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013. The junior United States Senator representing New York from 2001 to 2009, First Lady of the United States during the presidency of Bill Clinton from 1993 to 2001, and First Lady of Arkansas for 12 years. And then there is a place where you can click if you're going to vote for Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Jill Stein, or Gary Johnson. And then there's a place where you click to see the results. So I'm clicking on that, and it's loading up here, and I'll tell you what it says as soon as it comes up, if it ever decides to come up. Came up last night. Now it's going to be difficult today, I guess. Goodness gracious, what the dickens. Last night, it said that it was 71% for Trump. What it said last night. Now, this morning, it's not going to give me any results at all. It says failed to verify refer. So, I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, we'll go on to the next one. The next one is off of NBC. That one was ABC. This is NBC. It says vote for president. It says, dear ladies and gentlemen, readers of NBC News and NBC poll, we would like to firstly apologize for the misplacing poll. We have got to include two third-party candidate, Gary Johnson for the Libertarian Party and Jill Stein for the Green Party. It says, however, today we would also like to introduce you to our latest poll where we did include 4 candidates you can choose from: Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Jill Stein, and Gary Johnson. Every vote counts. So as yours, so leave it on this online poll down below. To inform more people about this poll and how they can choose their president online, make sure to share it with your social media profiles. And then they got the place where you can click to vote. And we'll hit the results and see if they'll pop up on this one. Because I know what it said last night, so we'll see what it says today. Now, the other one said 71% last night. And now it wants me to click another button for the results. Okay, we'll click that. All right, now this one's up. This one says Donald Trump is at 58%, 13%. Last night it was Trump at 51%. So, you know, in this poll, he's gone up some. And, you know, this is really interesting because a lot of them are saying that, oh, Hillary's ahead, Hillary's going to win, and Hillary's got the electoral votes to pull it off if she can get Florida and this, that, and the other thing. Well, it looks to me like Hillary's not got popular vote whatsoever, according to these polls that I'm looking at with ABC and NBC. So somebody's pulling our leg somewhere along the line. Another thing, if any of you listen to JSNIP4 on YouTube, he did a video, it's either yesterday or Wednesday, he did a video about the Hillary doing some kind of a speech thing down there in Florida, where he's at, and he decided that he was going to drive over there and see how big of a turnout she really had. Because he'd seen all kinds of pictures on the internet, you know, of how she had all these huge crowds, thousands of people. Well, this place where she was supposed to be giving this speech was supposed to hold 2,000 people, and he thought, well, Lord have mercy, if she's getting all the people that she's supposed to be having, I mean, they'll be standing out in the streets and everything else. That, you know, she should have 10,000 people show up. Well, he goes over there, and he actually has videotape of where he went in and took pictures in this convention center place where she's at, and I mean, it was just a handful of people there. The place was not even anywhere near packed, and it was supposed to hold 2,000 people. So she's not getting much of a turnout for her wingdings. Maybe she needs somebody scaling a building someplace for her, like that Spider-Man dude did the other day. I don't know. But anyway, I found all this interesting, and I thought you would too. So there you have these polls that's going out on folks. The next one that I have, this is off of Conservative Daily Post, and it says, Assange just released the new WikiLeaks of 296 brand new emails. Huma committed multiple felonies. Hillary's secretary or right hand or assistant or whatever you want to call her, that Huma Dean, says, working alongside WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, Judicial Watch released a batch of 296 emails showing Hillary Clinton committing more crimes, but they also show how dirty and complicit Huma Abedin has been. The emails of Hillary Clinton go back until 2003, but we are working tirelessly to confirm that they go back further to show what Hillary was doing around 2000 and 2001. While this photo is unconfirmed, we know Hillary has strong ties to Saudi Arabia, whom was behind 9/11. We are working to confirm. And there, you can pull this one up to see the picture if you want to. And the article goes on, says, Huma has been Hillary's top aide since before 2000, so she has been around all of the corruption, lies, and scandals for quite some time. In these newly released emails, we uncover many things, but the main takeaway is that not only did Hillary commit and allow more crimes, her aide Huma was right there doing the exact same thing. The Justice Department and FBI have allowed Hillary to skirt charges, but patriots like WikiLeaks and Judicial Watch are working tirelessly to reveal the truth behind Crooked Hillary. Judicial Watch filed a suit under the Freedom of Information Act, which Judicial Watch released yesterday. And the tweet says, there are always more. Amazing Judicial Watch uncovers new batch of Hillary emails. Huma Abedin emails show Clinton Foundation donor demands on State Department, Washington, D.C. Judicial Watch today released 296 pages, and then that goes on. To begin, one of the first things the email release highlights is that back in July, Huma Abedin testified in a disposition where she indicated that Hillary Clinton destroyed a ton of her schedules when she was Secretary of State. Ask yourself, why would Hillary Clinton put hundreds of her own travel logs in a burn bag to have destroyed? The deposition also revealed that Abedin was extremely careless with a sensitive document, emailing another aide to let her know Clinton's schedule was left sitting on a bed in a locked hotel room. They obviously do not care about keeping our secrets protected, or they wouldn't continue to be so careless. To make matters even worse, WikiLeaks revealed that Huma Abedin had access to Hillary Clinton's Secretary of State email address that wasn't secure. Clinton often needed naps and clearly has mental health issue, so she allowed Huma to use her email server to send replies and read what was coming through. To be clear, Huma did not have the clearance capacity. It gets much, much worse. And these emails from 2009, Doug Band, official, pushed hard for an associate position. In the revealed emails, we see Band sending emails to former aides under Hillary Clinton at the State Department. Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin, that is, take care of. It says Band said we need to take care of, and then the next word is redacted. Doesn't that sound like a mob boss wanting to take someone out? Redact his or her name when they turned over the emails if it wasn't serious. The emails can continue with Abedin telling Band that personnel is sending him options. And then there's an excerpt here. It says, according to Judicial Watch, a new document production is a 2009 email in which Band directs Abedin and Mills to put Lebanese Nigerian billionaire and Clinton Foundation donor Gilbert Chagoury in touch with the State Department's substance person in Lebanon. Band notes that Chagoury is key guy there in Lebanon and to us, and insists that Abedin call Jeffrey Feltman to connect him to Chagoury. Chagoury is a close friend of former President Bill Clinton and a top donor to the Clinton Foundation. He has appeared near the top of the foundation donor list as a $1 million to $5 million contributor, according to foundation documents. He also pledged $1 billion to the Clinton Global Initiative, according to a 2010 investigation by the PBS Frontline. Chagoury was convicted in 2000 in Switzerland for laundering money from Nigeria, but agreed to plea deal and repaid $66 million to the Nigerian government. Is another major case of corruption. We see the actions of Clinton's top aides getting favors for setting up interactions with the Clinton Foundation, which are clear violations of the ethics agreement that Hillary Clinton agreed to when she was appointed as her Secretary of State. Part here that talks about Huma acknowledging Hillary needs naps and often confused. It says, as another example, one of the duties of Secretary of State was actually acknowledged by Hillary Clinton herself in a letter she wrote to the State Department agency ethics official James H. Thyssen. Says, for the duration of my appointment as Secretary, if I am confirmed, I will not participate personally and substantially in any particular matter involving specific parties in which the William J. Clinton Foundation or the Clinton Global Initiative is a party or party. Hillary knows she's not supposed to exchange political favors, yet she continues to act recklessly and as if she is above the law. But wait, there's one more good twist to this story. In 2009, Stephen Roach, chairman of the Morgan Stanley Asia, sent Hillary a copy of his upcoming testimony before Congress. In the letter he sent Clinton, he mentions that he is going to condemn any U.S. efforts to criticize Chinese monetary policy or enact trade barriers. This is very important because just a few days later, Hillary asked Abedin about Roach possibly connecting her while she was in Beijing. I forwarded you my email to him about connecting in Beijing. Can he come to the embassy or other event? Here's where the dots connect. Morgan Stanley is a longtime financial supporter of the Clintons. This is another pay-for-play situation. The coordinated policy and crafted it together. The emails also showed that Hillary Clinton knew her email server was vulnerable and unsecured in February of 2009. Several emails are listed that show Hillary was going back and forth with security officials in the State Department, National Security Administration, over attempts for Clinton and her team to obtain secure Blackberries. Clinton wanted to use top secret information on a cell phone. Thankfully, that request was denied. It is very easy to steal a cell phone, and you saw the reference above where Huma and Hillary were leaving sensitive documents lying around on beds with doors open and unlocked. This entire story is insane, and it all should have been avoided. Hillary Clinton has repeatedly stated that she turned over to the State Department in December of 2014 all of her work-related emails. These emails prove that she once again lied. When will we ever learn that she cannot be trusted? There's always more. Judicial Watch has posted all of the emails, and here is a video of the president commenting on his team's findings. And it's Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton discussing the new Clinton emails, and there's a video there. So if you pull that article up, you can watch that. It says, we encourage the mainstream media to investigate this. They won't, because it's another damaging blow to their favorite candidate, Hillary Clinton. But this is another breaking news story. Hillary allowed her aide with zero security clearance to respond to emails on her private State Department server. The Clinton team left documents in rooms that were unsecured for anyone to take them. Hillary pushed for her team to use cell phones for classified information, and she was caught lying about turning all the emails over. We must unite as one to beat her in November. We cannot beat her with just stories. These stories must go viral, so the media is forced to report it. Facebook censors posts like this. If you share it enough, it will gain enough attention to where they have to keep it up. Share this with everyone so that we can continue to grow our platform for Donald Trump and put Hillary away for good. Let's do this together. And there's links there where you can share it on Facebook and Twitter. So there's that one. Man, I mean, she's Teflon. Nothing seems to stick to her. I've never seen the beat in my life. If it had been me or you, they'd have done thrown us underneath the jail and dropped it on top of us. We'd have been like that Wicked Witch of the West or whatever it was on the Wizard of Oz show. Lord have mercy. The next one we have here is off of truthrevolt.org. It says, Obama administration forced more than 5,000 illegals jailed for terrorist threats, drunk driving, sexual assaults, and gun possession. I talked about this the other day, but you know, this is another article on it, and it bears repeating. People need to know what he's pulling. Lord have mercy. If he ain't out to destroy us, I don't know what. More proof of the Obama administration's reckless policies concerning violent illegal aliens. The Washington Examiner reports the Obama administration forced to cut spending after the 2013 congressional sequester went into effect, demanded ICE release more than 5,000 violent illegal aliens jailed on charges of sexual assault, gun possession, terrorist threats, and more. The gross misconduct was exposed by the Immigration Reform Law Institute after it secured relevant administration emails by the Freedom of Information Act. The Examiner reports that IRLI's investigation portrayed the Department of Homeland Security's immigration agency scrambling to cut the number of jail beds it was filling, move to slash some $84 million taken in the budget sequester. In the heavily redacted emails, one official called the force reduction BS, and when concerns were raised about releasing violent criminal aliens, a top official assured, stay calm, you have not done anything wrong. In another, an immigration official forwarding release orders pleaded, don't shoot the messenger. And in a fourth, a top official wrote, we must decrease our population by COB today. Let's do this now. And in one, officials asked what should be done if a load of smuggled immigrants were captured during the cutback. In a February 25th, 2013 memo, the director of the Colorado ICE Enforcement and Removal Operation Office said arrests can be made, but none will be detained. Yes, you would be correct that after reading this, you are wondering about smuggling loads. Homeland Security and Customs and Border Patrol are free to arrest and process anyone they desire. However, we are the funded entity for the detention space, and only cases that meet the requirements above will be housed. That means an illegal and a smuggling load will not be housed, said the memo. These emails make it crystal clear that the administration was more concerned with the political optic of the immigration enforcement efforts than with its duty to keep Americans safe from criminal and legal aliens. said Dave Ray, a spokesman for the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Fortunately, some American families paid the loss of a loved one for this political theater. Political theater, to be sure, and one that's bound to continue if Hillary Clinton is elected president. Whatever happened to throwing them out of the country? Lord. The next one here is off of the freethoughtproject.com. And the title is Princeton Professor Shows How Easy It Is to Hack an Election in Just 7 Minutes. A professor from Princeton University and graduate student just proved electronic voting machines to remain astonishingly vulnerable to hackers, and they did it in under 8 minutes. In fact, Professor Andrew Apel, a grad student, Alex Halderman, took just 7 minutes to break into the authentic Sequoia ABC Advantage electronic voting machine. Apel purchased for $82 online. One of the oldest models, but still in use in Louisiana and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia. After Haldeman picked the hulking 250-pound machine's lock in 7 seconds flat, Apel wrested its 4 ROM chips from a circuit board, an easy feat considering the chips weren't soldered in place. Once freed, Apel could facilely replace the ROM chips with his own version of modified firmware that could throw off the machine's results, subtly altering the tally of votes, never to betray a hint to the voter, Politico Ben Warford explained. Other so-called cyber academics have hacked into various models of electronic voting machines in order to prove to the public the equipment is ridiculously bereft of security. Together with Ed Felton, Apel and a group of Princeton students recklessly hacked one voting machine after another, reprogramming one popular machine to play Pac-Man, popular models with self-duplicating malware, and discovering keys to voting machine locks that could be ordered on eBay. Their efforts have gone largely ignored for 15 years, but now, thanks to the explosion of controversy from revealing documents hacked from DNC and as yet unproven accusations of Russian involvement, Apel and his colleagues' persistence has finally garnered the attention it deserves. If primaries were successfully rigged through corporate media collision and behind-the-scenes coordination between the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton's campaign, voters will certainly wonder when they cast ballots using deeply vulnerable electronic voting machines. Perhaps the lack of security prompted the Department of Homeland Security to declare electronic voting machines part of the U.S. Critical infrastructure this week. A designation generally reserved for 16 sectors, including transportation system, dams, utilities, among other things, deemed so vital to the United States that their incapacitation or destruction would have a debilitating effect on security, economic security, national public health or safety, or any combination thereof. Now that the attention has been given to the ease with which number of popular still employed voting machines can be compromised, officials and voters alike have expressed grave concern about the upcoming election. This isn't a crazy hypothetical anymore, Dan Walsh, a computer science professor at Rice and veteran of the team of Princeton hackers, noted. Once you bring cyber activity into the game, let me read that again. Once you bring nation-state cyber activity into the game, he hinted of potential Russian connections to DNC hack and possible implications of foreign meddling in the national election. These machines, they barely work in a friendly environment. 31 prominent security experts with the Aspen Institute Homeland Security Group issued a statement in response to the DNC's hack at the end of July, imploring precautions be taken. Our electoral process could be a target for reckless foreign governments and terrorist groups. Look, we could see 15 years ago that this would be perfectly possible. It's well within the capabilities of a country as sophisticated as Russia. He added ominously, actually, it's well within the capabilities of much less well-funded and sophisticated attackers. Electronic voting machines hit the U.S. electoral process in full force following the hanging Chad controversy and the Bush-Gore race in 2000, in which ballots had to be hand-counted. Ludicrous pictures inundated the news, showing election officials assiduously examining paper ballots to determine if particularly punched choices equated actual votes in the in the tight race. Scene officials hoped electronic voting machines would avoid repeating, but those machines presented notorious problems of their own. As Wolford explains, the Princeton group has a simple message that the machines that Americans use at the polls are less secure than the iPhones they use to navigate their way there. They've seen the skeletons of code inside electronic voting digital closet, and they've mastered the equipment's vulnerabilities, perhaps better than anyone. Contention the voting machine companies contest, of course. They insist the elections could be vulnerable at myriad strike points, among them the software that aggregates the vote totals and the voter registration rolls that are increasingly digitized. But the threat, the cyber experts say, starts with the machines that tally the votes and crucially keep a record of them, or in some cases don't. Electronic equipment is now horribly outdated. Some machine manufacturers no longer offer tech support and considered in large part a failed experiment out for better options, but not completely. And those better options still can be easily tampered with, according to Appel and his team. Indeed, the issues with electronic voting methods are voluminous to recount in a single article, though Wolford does provide a thorough alibi, lengthy summary here, and you can click that link to read that if you want. The article goes on and says, as voters prepare to punitively choose the next American president in November, tales of rigged elections from the primaries to the presidency continue to top headlines across the country. With the sheer mountain of political funny business already evidenced this year, electronic voting machines don't offer anywhere near the sound comfort of retribution the voting public craves. So there you have that one. The next one that we have is off of BizPack Review, one of my favorite websites. And it says here, looks like Donald Trump has Hillary between a rock and a hard place over who founded ISIS. GOP nominee Donald Trump has Democratic Hillary Clinton in a bit of a pickle with his latest string of attacks, saying President Obama and the former Secretary of State are responsible for the rise of the Islamic State. After saying Obama is the founder of ISIS and Clinton is the co-founder of the Islamic terrorist organization, Trump immediately put bind when they rushed to blame something else for the group's rise. Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, oh Lord, tried to come to Clinton's rescue and called Trump's statements verbal poo-poo. She added that the Iraq war was to blame for the rise of ISIS, a war that she voted against, according to the Washington Times. But there's just one problem. Clinton voted for the Iraq war, making Pelosi's argument even more in line with Trump's. And while the media is in full hysteria over Trump's comments, Trump is saying that everyone's liking it. I think they're liking it, according to The Hill. This may be true. Twitter uses on Trump's remarks. And then there's some remarks here by one says, founder of ISIS, Obama administration, and Hillary Clinton. Another one says, Hewitt by Obama founded ISIS. You meant, and Trump says founded ISIS, and Hewitt says in the sense that he, and then Trump says it is literally the founder of ISIS. And there's several more here. I'm not going to read them all, but you can pull them up and read them if you want to. It serves for some entertainment. Oh man, Pelosi. She needs to shut up. Oh, the next one here. This is off of Bernie's, what is it? 7daysvt.com. And this is Bernie Beat. Bernie Sanders buys a summer home in North Hero. Yesterday, he went out and plunked down some money. So I'll read you this article. It says, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont, is proud new owner of a summer home in its Champlain Islands. 7 Days has confirmed. The Burlington resident last week plopped down nearly $600,000 on a lakefront camp in North Hero. Sanders' new crib has 4 bedrooms and 500 feet of Lake Champlain beachfront on the east side of the island, facing Vermont, not New York. The Byrne will keep his home in Burlington and use the new camp seasonally. We've traveled up to the islands many times over the years, almost always on day trips, Sanders' wife, Jane O'Meara Sanders, told 7 Days in a written statement. We've been impressed with the North Hero community, eaten at the North Hero House and Shore Acres, and have suggested them to friends who were looking for a beautiful place to stay and have dinner. St. Anne's Shrine and Isle La Motte is my favorite church, and it's nearby. Last Tuesday, the day of closing, a relaxed-looking Bernie Sanders posed for a photo at the Hero Welcome General Store on Route 2. The store, a bit south of his new abode, serves a sandwich called Feel the Bun in the senator's honor. The $6.99 Deli Delight consists of huge homemade rolls, sliced turkey, fresh apple chutney, hot pepper relish, lettuce, tomato, and provolone cheese. It's not fair that billionaire class controls 99% of the bread. The menu description reads, here's a sandwich for the rest of us to keep us nourished until everything cool is free. Sanders ordered the sandwich during his visit last week. Hero's welcome owner Robert Camp told 7 Days that the store once offered a Sanders sandwich that poked fun at the senator, but later pulled it. The new version captures the essence of his rise to national prominence, Camp said. The popular general store has a line of chairs out front, one side labeled Republicans and the other Democrats. In the middle, until recently, sat a lone Sandernista's chair, Camp said. That chair will be back as long as the new neighbor doesn't mind, Camp said jokingly. He's just been great, said Camp. This is going to be his home, so we won't encourage autographs. The small Grand Isle County town has been abuzz for the last several days with the news, O'Meara Sanders said. The entire family is very excited about it. My family had a lake home in Maine since 1990, but we hadn't had the time to go there in recent years, especially since my parents passed away, she said. We finally let go of it, and that enabled us to buy a place in the islands, something I've always hoped for. The Sanders also own a row house on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., and a house in Burlington's new North End. Island locals are happy to see a man of Sanders' stature choose from the town, which had fewer than 1,000 residents as of the 2010 U.S. Census. We couldn't ask for a nicer person to move in. That's my opinion, said Eileen Mitchell, a member of the town select board. The place isn't just for senators, she added. We welcome anyone else that moves into town. Camp, who's run Heroes Welcome for 23 years, predicted Sanders would fit right into island life. He'll be a welcome neighbor. Everybody up here loves him, Camp said. We are all ornery, and so is he. So I brought this out because, Bernie's a socialist, and he believes everybody should get everything for free, and the people that are working should turn in, the majority of their money to taxes in order to fund all the free stuff. And he's gone and he's bought this $600,000 lakefront property that he's only going to live in part of the year. And it says there is, his wife says they sold another property to buy this one. If there's any researchers that are paying any attention to this, what you need to do is you need to see if you can research and see how much he sold that other house for. And if he sold it for enough to actually buy this house. Because I'm wondering, you know, now that he's out of the race, if this is, another controversy. People donated an awful lot of money to his campaign and him dropping out of it. Where'd that money go? And now he's buying this house. And why in the world would he buy a house like that when he knows that so many people need help and the veterans need help? You know, there's homeless people. How many homeless people is he going to let live in that house when he ain't living in it? You know, what's he doing for the good of the country? So, I don't know. The whole thing just kind of irked me, and I thought I'd just bring that up for y'all so it gives you something to think about. Feel the burn. All right, the next one that I've got here, well, if I can get it to work with me. There we go. All right, this is off of CNN.com's Money. Money powering the NRA. From small town pharmacists to commercial pilot, it's not just gun makers that are funded by the National Rifle Association's political battles. The organization overall's revenue, which includes membership dues, program fees, and other contributions, has boomed in recent years, rising to nearly $350 million in 2013. The majority of this money funds NRA initiatives like member newsletters, sporting events, and gun safety education and training programs. These help the NRA recruit new members and spread its pro-gun message, but to influence laws and keep its chosen leaders in power, it has a separate pool of money to use. A CNN Money analysis of federal campaign finance records showed that much of its money comes from everyday Americans, and these contributions, which the NRA uses to keep pro-gun lawmakers in office, are on the rise. Some political funding comes from big corporations, many within the gun industry, which donate millions to the NRA. But companies are barred from donating to the NRA Political Action Committee, which the agency uses to fill campaign coffers, run ads, and send out mailers for and against candidates. That's where individual donations come in. Since 2005, the NRA Political Victory Fund has received nearly $85 million in contributions from individual donors. After the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting, donations to this Political Action Committee surged as gun owners worried that their rights to buy and own guns were at risk. We call for stricter gun control laws from leaders like President Obama in the wake of this tragedy, fueled these fears and prompted the NRA to rally its members to fight against new regulations. As a result, gun sales soared, and so did donations. 2014 election cycle were up by more than 50% compared to the prior 2 years and nearly doubled from a decade ago. Americans look to the NRA to defend their constitutional rights to self-protection, NRA spokesperson Jennifer Baker told CNN Money. When gun control advocates ramp up their efforts to pass gun control, people voice their opposition by donating to the NRA. Contributions came from nearly 30,000 donors, with around 90% of the donations made by people who gave less than $200 in a single year. According to the NRA, the average donation is around $35. The NRA's ability to raise so much money from small donations is highly unusual for a special interest group, demonstrating its wide-reaching support, said Sarah Briner, research director at Center for Responsive Politics. Only one person has donated even close to the maximum amount allowed by federal law, which is $5,000 per year, a computer programmer from Houston. Since 2005, he has donated $50,050, just shy of the $55,000 allowed for the 11-year period, including this year. It is a good percentage of my income, 5% to 10%, but I want to do everything I can easily do to preserve my freedom, said the donor, who requested to remain anonymous. I hope the money will be used to help conservative or libertarian-minded candidate win the elections. He said he worries that gun control advocates are trying to prevent the average citizen from owning guns at all. He had previously donated to Republican candidates directly, but since he also wanted to support pro-gun Democrats, he has switched to donating almost exclusively to the NRA, trusting it to distribute the money effectively. It is much easier to fight these bans now with money than to fight laws later with lawyers and evasion, he said. I think having the average citizen armed is a powerful deterrent to would-be abusers. Another top donor is Air Force veteran from Texas who ranked as an expert with both .38 revolver and 9mm pistol while he was on active duty. Currently, he works as commercial airline pilot, and he says he supports the NRA's mission to stand up for the right of self-defense. He says he has a concealed weapon permit and regularly carries a handgun. I'd like to see my contributions used to help elect solid gun rights supporters where possible, the most electable gun rights supporters where necessary, and the least objectionable candidate if that's the best we can do, he said. And they're joined by an eclectic group of other top donors. So there's some news on the donations to the NRA. The next one that I have is concerning your health. And this one is off of Elgar.com, and it says the meat you eat is halal, but USA won't label it. Scroll down, and the computer is running slow and it's hot. Okay, there it goes, a little bit at a time. And it says, this is an outrage. The roles were reversed and it was Muslims being ignored. Muslims whose dietary religious traditions being violated, all hell would break loose. Pamela Geller, USDA, says USDA ignores AFDI petition to require all halal meat to be labeled as such. A great deal of meat sold in this country is halal, but is not labeled as such. It's a scandal. But the established practice, meat packers generally do not separate halal meat from non-halal meat and do not label halal meat as such. We attempted to right that wrong, but the U.S. Department of Agriculture has 4 years now ignored, shelved, or just plain refused to rule on our petition. As many Americans do not, for a variety of reasons, wish to eat halal meat, back in February 2012, my organization, the American Freedom Defense Initiative, AFDI, filed a citizen petition with the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service asking that a regulation be enacted to ensure that all halal food be clearly labeled as halal. In April 2012, we agreed not to publicize our petition in order to give the agency some space to review the document without any pressure from the public. On May 11, 2012, we had a face-to-face meeting in the USDA offices with top FSIS officials. We discussed the petition and the need for halal meat to be clearly labeled. Present at this meeting was Dan Engeljohn, a longtime USDA official who is now Assistant Administrator for the Office of Policy and Program Development, the OPPD, in the FSIS. The position makes him responsible for FSIS regulations. Engeljohn and company have now had 4 years to rule on our petition. They're done, and they've done absolutely nothing. As far back as October 2010, I reported on little noted but explosive revelations that much of the meat in Europe and the United States is being processed as halal without the knowledge of the non-Muslim consumers who bought it. In November 2011, I penned an article that caused a firestorm across the political spectrum, revealing that butterball turkeys were all halal, but were not labeled as such. Heads exploded on the left, not over Butterball's deception, but over my having the audacity to reveal it. And the clueless and compromised on the right were enraged as well. John Podorovs tweeted, I'd tell Pamela Geller to put a sock in it, but the sock might be halal. I was, of course, extricated as racist, Islamophobe, and Muslim bigot. In reality, however, we have no objection to halal meat being sold as long as it is clearly labeled as such and as long as non-halal meat is available. Meat that is halal must be labeled as such. Our petition regarding ritual slaughter was posted on FSIS website on February 14th, 2012. It was a ritual slaughter petition that all types or ritual slaughter, kosher, halal, etc. Every type of ritual slaughter holds some type of concern for some segment of the consuming public. We were not asking the USDA to single out a specific type of slaughter when dealing with this issue. Our petition did not single out one type of ritual slaughter over another, nor did it wish to discriminate against a specific religious group. We just wanted all meat that had been ritually slaughtered to be clearly labeled to that effect. Kosher meat is routinely marked accordingly. Why not halal meat? Our petition has since been taken down from the FSIS site, but here is a screenshot via the Wayback Machine. So you can click on that link and it'll show you that petition. This is strictly a false labeling and consumer choice issue. Religious people, Jews, Muslims, and others should have the freedom to have meat and poultry products produced in a way that meets their needs. Consumers who don't wish to consume ritually slaughtered products have the right to sufficient labeling information. Under the current system, ritually slaughtered meat and poultry is not sufficiently labeled for consumers to be able to choose exactly what they want. Labeling can be misleading and untruthful in what it does not say if the key facts are omitted. Consumers should have the ability to be able to choose for themselves if they want to eat ritually slaughtered products. Some Christians see the New Testament prohibiting the consumption of meat sacrificed to idols, and some would view halal meat as meeting that definition. Current law, they have no way to avoid eating it. Just as those who buy meat and poultry products labeled halal or kosher should have reasonable expectation that the meat they're buying was actually produced in that manner. So also those of us who don't want to eat halal meat for whatever reason should also have reasonable assurance that meat labeled halal was not actually slaughtered in accordance with Sharia rules. In halal slaughter, as halal slaughter increases in the U.S., the likelihood of unknowingly buying meat sacrificed under the present system also increases. This is a matter of simple justice and common sense. So why is the USDA stonewalling on our petition? So there you have that one. I don't think the government wants us to know what we're eating in any sense of your imagination. They're going to put poison in it. They're going to GMOs, pesticides, herbicides, however it's picked, slaughtered, what have you, to us. Unless you're raising your own in your own yard, you don't know what you're getting. And that brings me to my last one for today. This is off the Huffington Post. This is your feel good. This is for your weekend. And I did this one today because some of you may have heard my little pet peeve rant that I put up on story time over on my other channel. And if you haven't, well, you'll have to go take a look at that. It's only about 8 minutes long. But everybody's got a pet peeve, and I had mine, and I had my little fit this morning, I guess, my little rant. And oh my, I thought, I needed something today, and so I need this, and the rest of you do too. This will make you look at life differently. It's called, this is off Huffington Post. It's called Making the Most of Life's Experiences. And the first comes a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt that says, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly without fear or for newer and richer experience." If you ask anyone what the purpose of life is, you're likely to receive widely different responses. The answer to this question is subjective and deeply personal. Different things are important to us throughout the course of our lives, yet one thing stays with us no matter where we go: is our experiences. To make the most of our experiences is challenging, or is a challenge that we face every day. As humans, we ascribe values to the things we do, and it's understandable. We like to feel that what we're doing has purpose. It's important to find fulfillment in our relationships and careers. Cultivate your friendships and find company cultures that fulfill you. It's from those experiences in life that we learn and grow. In this process of pursuing what we love, we can learn valuable lessons about ourselves and the world around us. Pursue what you love. There is maturity that comes with experience of pursuing your dreams. Before you can do that, it's important to take inventory of your priorities. What are you passionate about? What makes you feel alive? Where do your talents thrive? Not everyone values the same things or thinks the same way, but that's okay. The number one way to live life free of regret is to pursue those interests after you've identified them. Passion and drive can wither and die without action supporting them. Your time is precious. It's common to struggle with feelings of futility of when you don't make immediate progress. We can't choose the outcome of our actions, but we can choose every day to keep pursuing. Every day, take an action, no matter how small, to achieve your goals. Write in your blog. Do those push-ups. Practice your singing. Build up your momentum. Each day is a step forward, and none of it is wasted. Make lots of mistakes. You'll stumble, you'll fall, and that's okay. I've taken jobs I shouldn't have and moved for the wrong reasons. Though that time was spent may seem like a waste, I learned a lot from those experiences. It takes time to gain confidence in yourself. It takes time to learn how to stand on your own. Building connections and making friends is a process like anything else. You might fail sometimes, but you'll learn new ways to achieve your goals in the process. Guy Kowalski discusses in his book Enchantment the art of changing hearts, minds, and actions. He highlights how to pursue your goals and how to project your authentic self, how to overcome opposition. All of these can be achieved through self-awareness and discovery. His business advice is widely applicable to the many challenges we face in life. If you want to change the world, you need to start by changing yourself. Making mistakes is the surest path to grow and mature as a person. The knowledge you gain will empower you to succeed in the future. Many of my strongest memories come from the times I've failed, and those lessons have stayed with me. There is virtue in failure. Time and perspective allows me to see the value of even the most painful situation. Take care of yourself. Difficult and painful experiences shape our character, but can also weigh us down. These frustrations burden and prevent us from moving forward. Much of our progress in life relies on willpower and healthy emotional state. There's a strong connection between physical and mental health. And for these reasons, it's important to address mental health first. If you're under immense stress and anxiety, your body and mind both require time to recover. It's best to rest, recover, and slowly build back up your strength. Too often, when we are suffering, we will focus only on physical remedies and can ignore our emotional health. Stigma represents a powerful obstacle towards recognizing the need for help. Remember that we're striving for, or remember what you're striving for and why it is important. It's okay to go to family or friends for help. Find a friendly ear and share your frustrations. Don't be afraid to take time for yourself to recuperate. For me, life is about experiences. We all have dreams or we can achieve success. Maybe we'll discover along the way that the journey is more important than the destination. So I thought that that was a good little reminder for us to make the most of life's experiences. And I don't know, the little saying that has been popping into my head all morning ever since my experience that I had early this morning was, don't sweat the small stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff, and just try to enjoy your life. With that, I'm going to turn you loose for today, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. I thank everybody for joining me and coming to the chat room, and all my Memorex viewers and all my lurkers and all that sort of thing. I hope you enjoy your weekend and get out and enjoy life, experience life, and try not to lose your cool in the heat. We'll see y'all Monday. Don't forget about story time over on my other channel. The link is down there in the description of the video. We'll see y'all later on. Thanks. Bye.